Hello and welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And today we have the Jack Daniel's single barrel, we have the single barrel and the single malt on my cask. I'm going to taste them one after another. The single barrel will be the next video. But today we are looking at the single malt from Jack Daniel's. It's a different whiskey. So usually you have the Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey. You used to have the bourbon whiskey from the Bourbon County. Now it was then Kentucky straight bourbon. All of the state of Kentucky could make bourbon, and now all of US can do bourbon. If they have at least 50% corn, 51% corn and stuff. But Tennessee whiskey is different. It has to be from Tennessee. And traditionally, why Tennessee whiskey was a thing is because they were very close to the border of Kentucky, very close to the Bourbon County, and had very, very good water. And this very, very good water was, back in the days, it wasn't necessary. There were no water filters or anything, so you had to have the natural limestone filtering the water. That's why Jack Daniel's, Jim Beam, and all the others were such hits, because they had good whiskey from the beginning, because they had the really, really good water. Nowadays, everybody can go to any tap water, put it through an expensive filter, have really, really good water, and then make good whiskey. So that is easy to do. But back in days, none such thing existed. So the Tennessee whiskey was in 1944 was established as a recognized trademark in the US. You couldn't call anything Tennessee whiskey, so that was kind of the birthplace of the official Tennessee whiskey. But this here now is something different. It actually doesn't say Tennessee whiskey. It says American single malt. I guess they're gonna do it after their normal recipe with charcoal mellowing, where you take sugar maple, you burn it and put it into charcoal, and just before it turns to ash, you just hose it down to have charcoal, and that is then an active charcoal that is used for filtering the whiskey or the raw spirit before it goes into the barrels, and that makes it really, really mellow. It takes the sharp substances out of the spirit. Also, you lose 1 or 3% or something like that in the process. Yeah, so I guess they've done that as well, 45%. And what they've also done is they matured it normal in new oak charred barrels, and they also finished it in Oloroso Sherry Casks. So it kind of is a bit of a homage to what the Scottish people do. Let's have a look how maybe the single malt can compare with the Scotch single malt. From the smell, no. From the smell, it's that the American should have been bigger and the single malt should have been smaller. Oh yeah, it's very, very sweet. You feel the new oak barrel, very, very caramel, very vanilla popcorn, a little bit of a pine touch to it. And when I first smelled it in the German take, it was very, very much pine. So it really felt a little bit like a rye. Oh, is it like a Scotch single malt? Definitely not. It's very, very, very sweet. It feels a little bit like a bourbon, but a bit strange, bit different to a bourbon, because it is single malt and doesn't have the corn in it. So a little bit less sweet, but there's tons of sweetness going around in there, with a good amount of fruitiness, a little bit of nuttiness going on. Don't get me wrong, it's not like a complex Scotch whiskey. It's far, far too intense for that. So what you have here is definitely not something that is meant to look like or taste like a Scotch. It's very, very much American with a twist to it. You feel that it has a different cask in it, which is very, very atypical for Americans. And yeah, very, very sweet. Also, the mellowness comes through. It's easy drinkable, as Jack Daniel's always are. And has that strange grape touch to it. Wine, grape. really strange. It's odd one out for the Jack Daniels, I would say. Even for the Americans, I would say it's an odd one out. Also, I'm not quite sure how this is priced all around the globe. Here in Europe, we are at 108.50 euros, so that's around $110 as well. So this is very, very expensive for us. But maybe this is like a US only thing, and they just shipped it over here. And no, it says responsible drinking EU. So guess this is a normal import. Yeah, so, but it is very, very expensive here in the EU. Have a look at the comment section below, and for all of you Americans in there, and you've seen that or you've tasted it, have a look how much do you pay in the US. Is that cheaper, or is that as expensive as it is here? I would like to know how Jack Daniels plays in that field. And yeah, if you like your American whiskey and you want to have a bit of a twist to it, that's the right one. If you you're like the Scotch whiskey and you think, oh, let's have a Scotch whiskey from Jack Daniels, definitely not. This is not comparable to a Scotch whiskey. So yeah, that was my take on the Jack Daniels American Single Malt. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.